Cooler Master has released their first all-new chassis of 2011 under the CM Storm brand. It's geared for gamers and enthusiasts. Here we have the CM Storm Enforcer, a modestly sized mid-tower that takes much of its successful layout and design from the Cooler Master Half Series and gives it a unique, aggressive look. The case rings in at $89, where there's a large amount of competition, and not just from other manufacturers, but from Cooler Master themselves. So let's see how the Enforcer stacks up. The exterior design is inspired by the idea of an armored soldier or cyborg. While it may not be for everyone, it sits right in with the unique gaming look that CM Storm products aim for, and it stands out among the sea of simple box towers. The front has a 200mm LED intake fan, and behind the front door there are 4 external drive bays with a 3.5-inch option. Front ports include USB 3.0, USB 2, audio, power, and reset. I should also point out that for USB 3 they are using the new standard internal USB header connection, but unfortunately there isn't any sort of adapter to plug into the back of an older motherboard. At the top there is space for an optional 200mm fan or dual 120mm fan. The back of the case hosts water tubing holes, 120mm exhaust fan, 7+1 PCI spaces, and bottom-mounted power supply. If the interior looks familiar, that's because it's nearly identical to that of the Half 912. A layout we know to be tried, tested, and true. And now it has the added bonus of a black paint job. At the bottom, we have a dust filter under the power supply, separate 2.5-inch drive caddy with support for 2 drives, 6 3.5-inch toolless drive bays, 4 toolless 5.25-inch bays, and plenty of space throughout the motherboard for cable routing. One fun feature of this case is the ability to quickly remove the hard drive cage or rotate it so the drives are perpendicular with the case. Overall, it's a layout that works great for a mid-tower gaming case. It allows for the most flexibility when choosing what kind of hardware you want to install. Moving on to the installation, you'll see the case fits full-sized ATX motherboards while still providing room to work with. Larger video cards are also not an issue with this case, as it fits 11-inch long cards with the drive cage still in place, and if you need more room, simply leave it out. Unfortunately, something that we felt was missing from this system was thumb screws. Whether it was on the expansion slots or the retention system for the SSD and drive cages, everything still continues to require a screwdriver. Despite its small stature, cabling in the CM Enforcer is surprisingly good. There is just enough room behind the motherboard tray to run thick wires, though you won't be storing them there, and the drive cages are pushed in for extra storage, though you may have to get creative if you want to use all of the bays. And that is the new CM Storm Enforcer. Cooler Master has provided a very unique looking case that keeps up with the always interesting design of the CM Storm brand, and while it may not be your cup of tea, it's sure to get people looking if you want to take it out in public. The case features great airflow potential for its size and has an interior layout that allows for some pretty serious gaming hardware to be installed. Cooler Master has made some pleasant additions from the Half 912 framework, including a new black interior, USB 3, and more toolless trays. Unfortunately, given the fact that it is so similar to a vastly cheaper Half 912, it does make us have to ask the question, is it worth the rather large price premium? Add to that Cooler Master's own award-winning 692 is just a little step up in price and offers some of the best features in this market, and you see that Cooler Master is kind of competing with themselves. So while the Enforcer may be a very good case, it doesn't necessarily represent good value. And that is it for this episode of the Hardware Canucks Product Showcase. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the YouTube comments section below. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time.